So, hello and welcome. This is Erica Glessing, and I am really glad to be here with you today. I'm joined already by some friends in different places. So, hi, Maria. What time is
Hello.
it in Greece?
It's 10 p.m.
Okay. and I think in Arizona we're on the same time right now. It might be an hour different. What time is it there?
Yeah, summertime we're on the same time.
Oh,
Wintertime we're
okay.
different. Yeah.
So it's noon, California.
Yeah.
Um, this clearing blocks to happiness showed up for me, and really the intention I'm setting is to change the happiness vibration on the entire planet. So my interest is that everyone who experiences greater happiness, there's already degrees of separation that people shift. So I think Harvard said 3 degrees of separation, and I've read up to 8 degrees of separation. And so one person didn't understand what degree of separation is, and that's basically like everyone I know, and then everyone they know, and then everyone they know. So that'd be the 3rd degree out. So when you do the work, and I call it work, but it really is play. But when you start having more happiness, and I promised everyone I'd laugh, so I'm just gonna laugh a lot. So if you hear this recording, you can hear me laugh. And I laugh all the time for no reason. So, more so lately, Maria.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And I have to say that sometimes when I channel energy that's really powerful, people start laughing. They report to me that they start laughing, and they laugh like an hour later. They continue laughing. They go into this happy place. So I think it's just you're channeling some really beautiful energy now.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. So today we're going to go through 3 blocks. And actually, when I started working on this series and I got help building it, I actually wrote down really quickly 30 blocks. I was able to tap into like 30 blocks. And then I sent out an email and I said, give me ways that happiness is blocked, and we'll do some clearings on this call. And I mean, I just immediately started getting in some of the other places where people block happiness. And so this work is just kind of showing up for me as what if more people on the planet would keep shifting their happiness vibration intentionally. And
And I
that's kind
have
of the
to say,
ask.
as you say that, your eyes are glowing in such a beautiful way. I think that since we started the call, I can see the glow in your eyes. So I think that's just
Oh,
a beautiful, beautiful place you're in.
thank you, sweetheart. I so appreciate that. So I'm going to jump in with the first one, and it was really actually kind of interesting to try to break it down to 3. And I have to actually refer to my notes, even though I teach happiness, and I've been teaching this for 10 years now, right, Maria? It's
Yeah.
like I'm still
I
like,
think I know you for more than that, but yes, I would say more than 10 years because I know you since 2004, and you've been teaching about
2006, yeah, something like that.
2006. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
about
So,
there.
one of the first things that I like to remind everyone, and I say remind because we all really do know this, is that happiness is completely limitless. So any happiness you've already felt, there's more you can feel. It's like there's more. There's always more. There's an endless supply of happiness. It's not a currency, which like even money can be limitless, or abundance can be limitless, but currency, there might be a certain number of $20 bills in the world, or a certain amount of silver in the world. Happiness, there's actually a completely unlimited happiness in the world, and we all can tap into it. And so, yeah. So it's a lot more limitless than we thought. So one of the ways that I tap into this limitless sense of happiness, this joy that I am without trying, is I do a practice when I first wake up in the morning. And I expand my energy out, into the planet. I expand my energy out to beyond the planet. And then I ask to be a little bit less limited than yesterday. So I wake up in the morning and I just go, what would it be like if my energy was different than yesterday? Like, what would that feel like? And I don't know the answer. So I just sit there in that space of asking to expand in the morning. And I do it in the mornings. Now, some people are night owls. And if I say I do that in the morning and you cringe because mornings hit you like a brick, do this before you go to bed. I mean, it's really, there's a place usually in your day that you're the most kind of either serene or the most able to tap into it. And it's usually either, for me, it's right when I wake up. Some people, it's right before they go to sleep. Yeah, that. Oh, by the way, if right after the hearing this webinar you can't sleep, I'm sorry. I'll do a little exercise near the end where, and Maria, just when I bring it up, you'll know how to do it. But you can close down some of the things that get blown open, because we blow things open, and then sometimes sleep can be elusive because we're so like more open. Does that make sense? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the first number one clearing is just to recognize and remember the limitless nature of happiness. And so what I just got shown, and you know, some of this stuff I feel like has been in self-help for centuries. It's like when I say look within, it's like, what? It's like I want to look within. I want someone else to find it for me. Oh man, I have to look within. Oh man. So I just want to say for everyone, it is something you can find within. So I just want to be there in that space with you, of knowing that for you, with you, that it is a journey you can take, and there is more, and you can own it yourself. Okay? So I'm just going to reinforce that knowingness that kind of brought you here today anyways, right? It's like it brought us all here today anyways. If you're listening on the replay, remember your own potency for a minute and just stand in that. That's awesome. Thank you. Whew. So I'm going to do something next, and this is really a fun thing, and all of you who are healers and teachers, I recommend that you start practicing this because it's a super joyful. I can't even explain how this has changed my life doing this, and it's a one-to-many transmission. And so I'm just going to one-to-many transmission to everyone who signed up to. I think we had about 70 to 80 people, depending on all the different. I had different places where they could sign up. So approximately 80 people signed up for this. So I'm going to right now one-to-many transmit happiness, not into the people who signed up, but to flow it so that everyone can experience it with me right now. Just and anything that's stopping you from experiencing as much happiness, just right now, we're just going to just feel that. Thank you.
Go straight in the heart.
Yeah, baby. Thank you for receiving, you guys. That was awesome. Woo! I'm heady with that. Oh my goodness, that's joyful. So the one-to-many transmission is a really interesting experience because you can one-to-many. And what will happen is you'll start to be able to work with people and shift more people on the planet all at the same time with more ease. And so it's very different than one-on-one work, right? It's a crazy thing. It starts just, and you know, I think Maria, we met with on a meditation series with the meditation teacher, and he was able to do the one-to-many with the Shaktipat. Remember? He could sit there with everyone on the call, and he could transmit his vibration, and it was a one-to-many, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, we could do this a long time together. That's getting better than that. So the next thing I want to talk about.
Appreciate is I really appreciate because I can feel it going straight in the heart. It's so beautiful and so pure. Thank you.
Oh. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into the second one. And that one's about choosing for you. So that one's a little more challenging. So we're going to do a commercial break. Here's my commercial break. It's a screen share. Check it out. This is my commercial break. Today's webinar is being brought to you by me. So I'm teaching 60 Days of Happiness. And look, Janie, who's on our call right now, made my beautiful graphics. Aren't they lovely? And the first 2 days is called Treasure, and I've already cut that video. And then when you sign up for the class, you'll get 30 different happiness videos, all featuring happiness blocks that we're going to be clearing in that one-to-many environment. Plus, the video will share messages. And there's 4 live video calls on this series that go for 60 days. And my book on Kindle, in case you don't have it. If you already have it, you can share it. And then also meditation MP3. So that's our commercial break. And now we'll go back to the webinar.
And I can't imagine a better person to do that. Since I've known you, you've always tapped into this energy of happiness, and you've always had this incredible ability.
Aww.
Can you hear me better now? I was saying I can't imagine a better person to do this, because this is really something you've been doing for many, many years, and you really have not only transcended the blocks, but it's almost like you channel the energy of happiness in your being, and anybody who can connect with you can really feel that.
Oh, Maria Callas, thank you so much for joining me from Greece at 10 p.m.
Yeah. Well, I will miss it. I'm
Thank
very
you
happy.
so much. Yeah, I'm so blessed to have such amazing people in my world. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Any better than this. So the next thing I want to talk about is, and I want to mention to everybody that the third one, because a lot of people have asked about how do I navigate when I'm around unhappy people? And that kind of will lead into Maria's questions about sort of a community environment that's different than me. I actually have some people I work with in Singapore who navigate similar situations where their energy feels kind of different from their country's energy. We'll talk a little bit about that. Okay. All right. So they're telling me to switch them. Okay, cool. When I say they, the energy that I'm like helping bring me this to you, I get messages from Celestial. And so I'm kind of being shown right now to flip them and jump right into allowing other people to be unhappy. This one is crazy. When you don't pay attention to this one, you can go on like 10-year unhappiness sprees. Like, whoops, where did that 10 years go? Oh, I was taking care of, fill in the blank, right? It's like, oh, I forgot that I can't make someone else happy. Dang. So I just also got shown a picture of being a leader. And so when you're a leader, you can be kind of like, for a little while, you can sort of, as you're shifting into higher and higher calibrations of your leadership, you can start, like if you just have that little inner smile as you go about your day, because you've done a lot of things in the morning, you've set your energy for the day, and you've asked for more happiness, and you've pictured happiness, and then you've like brought it in by choosing for you, and you've chosen positions, work that you like to do. You've chosen all kinds of things different, and all of a sudden you're experiencing all this happiness. And that, if you have people in your life who are choosing a lot of unhappy choices and who are not choosing for themselves, they're actually probably, they could be making choices based on their own either negative entities in their space. They could be making choices based on the societal mores. They could, I was reading about someone who I think in the 1920s went up against, actually this was actually one of my ancestors. Charlie Glessing. And I found this story when I went to Minnesota, and this woman travels from Ireland, she's one of my ancestors, and shows up at the door of a cousin. She had to get out of Ireland, and so got adopted into the family there. And then she met Charlie Glessing, and Charlie Glessing's family did not want him to marry my great-great-grandma. And the two of them eloped. And he went against his entire family, who stopped talking to him. And he was in love with my great-great-grandma, which is really fortunate because I have a body now. So thank you, Charlie Glessing, for going against your entire family and marrying that beautiful 18-year-old who came here from Ireland. I mean, what balls did she have, right? Like, just came out of nowhere and flew into a different country. Well, they didn't fly at that time, it was on a boat. But that's how the Glessing family came over to America on my paternal line. And it was really pretty interesting when I look at the choice of going against your family in order to have truth of you, right? Because it's a really challenging honor. And as you step into this bigger and bigger, you start shifting your own vibration so big that essentially the things that you're asking about with others who are unhappy, it's not that it doesn't matter, because that's probably the wrong way of saying it. It's more like you go into allowance, or one way to grapple with it is to be an allowance of others to be brutally unhappy if that's what they need to do right now to get them through their spiritual lessons. So when you're born into a body, you usually come and say, I'm going to come and learn some things. I'm going to incarnate into a body, and then I'm going to have some things to learn, because I don't want to just incarnate into a body and have nothing to do on the planet for 100 years or whatever. So I'm going to incarnate into a body, and I'm going to make some choices, and those choices are going to be challenging, and then I'm going to grow. And that way I'm going to be able to help more people, and I'm going to be even. So now, as for me, for instance, in my 50s, being more joyful than I've been in a long time. So more joyful, and I'm choosing more joy and choosing more joy. Now, there are some people for whom that light is just too dang bright. Like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying there are those for whom they are not comfortable in my energy. They just can't even really hang out with me. Like, I'm just too shiny. Like, too much fun. And they're like, I connect with Erica, but she's always laughing. I feel like crap. I just can't connect with her today, right? So am I going to have a better life if I go into the rabbit hole, the depression hole, to hang out in equal consciousness with people who happen to have been in my space for some reason? Either I chose them biologically, or I chose them socially, or I chose them, in some ways all of our families are choice. So if I look at that, do I want to stay in the space of these people that I'm in the space with? There can be difficult decisions. I mean, so one thing you can ask yourself, this is a pretty big one, so I'm going to keep going. This feels pretty light to keep going. Is that all right? Can I just keep going?
Yes.
So, Janie, who am I making myself small so they don't leave me?
Who?
For whom? I don't want you to answer.
Okay.
For whom? Just think about it. For whom am I making myself small so that they won't leave me? For whom am I keeping myself small so I don't lose them? Right? There's no charge on that at all.
Oh, that's just small and not significant.
No, not at all, right?
Blah.
Oh my gosh. So, do we make ourselves small for our parents? Do we make ourselves small for our teachers? Do we make ourselves small for our siblings? Who do we not shine brighter than, and who are we completely unwilling to outshine? And when we get to that rubber meets the road place, and it's time to get bigger, if we choose not to, then our capacities turn on ourselves and hurt us.
Yeah, and I've never done that either, ever.
So if I have a capacity, let's just say with animals, and I'm not using it, I might have a problem with an animal in my house. Okay?
Touche.
I might have a cat that pees everywhere or something. I mean, I've gone through that. So if I have capacities that, let's say it's talking to spirit, and I don't acknowledge, allow, communicate, some of them I say, get the hell out of my space. I'm not required to have entities in my space. I can say leave. In fact, I asked a lot of the entities to leave while I was doing this today, which is very interesting because some of them really wanted to help me, and I think that's fabulous. And I was like, not today. I'm like, not today. Because today I'd like a really clear space around me because that resonates different, right? So as we keep shifting, isn't that crazy? It not only influences the people that we love, but it also influences the entities. So the past ones, it's going to influence them. And we need to just clear all of our space. To be honest, nothing is really happy in our space when it's all crowded with other beings, people, thoughts, voices, advice, societal, even the cultural values. The overarching cultural values can keep us small if we choose to honor them, you know, right? So,
well, and even I call that clutter, and even like the clutter in the house too adds to that. If there's piles of junk all over the place, it adds to my mind doing what you were showing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not only, so we kind of jump through the block of allowing others to be unhappy, but also decluttering ourselves.
Yeah.
And here's the beauty, okay, guys? This is the carrot. When we effectively do this, the people that we've had in our heads and in our bodies and in our hearts and in our families gain more potency when we kick them out.
Can I add also
They
something
get
to that?
stronger. Because, yeah, just a second. They get more in tune with their own connection to source energy. And they're able, if we're always doing that for them, it's kind of like two little kids, and one will learn to talk really well, and then that one will talk for the other one, so the other one won't learn to talk for a really long time because the other one's doing all the talking and everything's working. So when that person stops doing that for the other person, they have to talk themselves, and then they start having leaps and bounds of potential growth. And so as we do this shift, and it kind of almost sounded unkind, but it's actually awakening the potential of these individuals that were perceiving their unhappiness. And actually, one of the women who typed in her questions asked a lot about this. And so I'm just going to share, it's really important to honor the potency of the very people that you're saying they're so unhappy. Because they have as much potency to be happy as anyone else on the planet. Even if they're choosing a lot of pathetic choices, they're still completely possible to gain their potency. And then I'll just add one more thing, and then Maria, I want to talk to you, let you have a chance to chat or communicate your extra point. What I came up with in the last webinar was, if you're learning to skate well, my kids play a lot of hockey, if you're learning to skate well, would you rather skate behind someone who's falling every few seconds, or would you rather skate behind, let's just say, an Olympian? And if the Olympian shows up and starts falling to make the ones feel good and gets hurt, is that helping the Olympian? No. Right? It doesn't even make sense. They would just skate around like a little, bat out of head. They're just skating around like crazy, and then the kids watching them learn how to do it without even trying. Their bodies just see it, get it, do it, and they get it. That's how happiness is. It's the same exact thing. And so by you standing as a happy person in the light of all the other bullshit that's happening in the whole planet, if you can stay in that space, other people will too. They can come to you versus one of the ways that we can create reality is taking everyone else's reality and building ours from that. The other way is to be the dominant force in your reality and create from that. You always have choice. And Maria, that taps into your community question, but go ahead and add a point.
So as you know, I've been working as a healer for over 10 years now. And in the past, I used to, I would see people down and I would go down to that level to help them. And not only I won't really be as powerful as I am now, but also I will get sick all the time because I will absorb that darkness and then I will leave that darkness. Like my life will become it. And then now I'm choosing to be in this high place, in this happy place, and I'm okay with some people not liking me. I don't care. I'm like, hey, you do your thing, I'm here. And not only that, but I see phenomenal changes in people, phenomenal. Like they get things much faster. They really shift in their lives and it becomes an incredible shift. So it's almost like, I'm not saying I'm perfect by all means, but what I'm saying is like, I love the point that you're making because I spend my life, and you know me for a while, right? I spent my life being sick for a very long time because I was trying to fit into that mold and kind of make myself small to fit in. And not only I never fit in, but
I know, that's also crazy, right? I mean, everyone on the call is relating to that. Not fit in even if we try.
Yeah.
We're different.
So, but I was sick all the time. And now I have a life of abundance. I have a life of happiness. I have a life of miracles. And guess what? It's almost like I was doing the world a disservice by making myself small. And now I'm doing the world a service by being authentically me and tapping into this energy of happiness that you're talking about. It's just the greatest gift we can give to ourselves, but to the planet as well, because we become the shining model of happiness. Like you laugh all the time. I love your laughter. I'm like listening to it and laughing with you. I'm like just jittery and happy listening to your laughter. And, if somebody can't stand it, oh well, But the people who really can and love it are the people that should be there because, hey, I came in and I was like less happy than I am now. And then maybe 5 minutes later, I'll be even more happy because you're bringing in all this beautiful energy of happiness that you're sharing.
Oh, thank you. And I really want to, I love that. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to sit there and say thank you. And so that was our second one is, well, how do we allow others to be unhappy and keep going? And that was that. And now I think I'll do another commercial break so I can breathe. So I'm going to share my screen. Yay! And today's class is brought to us by 60 Days of Happiness, which is starts right now. And when people sign up, they will start receiving 30 videos. So every other day they'll get a new video, and they're really fun. There's me. And Janie came up with this beautiful graphic. So every day they get a beautiful graphic. We're doing 5 interactive video calls, much like this one. They'll be September 13th, 27th, October 4th, and October 18th. And there'll be questions and answers, and you can come from wherever you are, so you don't have to be perfect at all. And anyone who signs up by midnight tonight, your time, I'll send you an extra bonus meditation MP3. I'm super big on meditation, and I kind of get that not everyone meditates anymore. And I like guided meditations, and so I like to go in. I also like to clear chakras, and I think what we'll do next on the call is I think I'll do a little happiness meditation, and then we'll do the next point. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yummy.
Yay! Yay! Happy dance! Oh, video in.
So, Janie, in answer to your question, and I also got that from someone else, so that's awesome. Julie asked that question, and it was, how do I sustain happiness? And so really you want to start looking at practices that bring you happiness, that you start having more and more of them. And then you also look for, this is something really fun, what you look for little strands of happiness in your day. So here's an example of what I did. My daughter had her toe broken, and so we were over at the doctor's, and she had a big swim meet that week, and she was supposed to also go to Boston and play hockey, and all of our plans just kind of went into because she broke her toe. And so we're sitting there at the hospital, and I looked around and I was like, okay, what is there about this experience that is, I want to say like stupendous, like I don't know what that's the right word, but I was like, what is there about this? And I was like, she's getting first class healthcare right now. And how blessed am I that we have her all signed up for the best healthcare, and she's getting treated immediately, and she's getting x-rayed. The x-ray technician was like the nicest young woman in the world, and she was chatting with my daughter. And also, since I worked from my own business, I wasn't stressed out. I didn't have to tell my boss I was leaving. I sat with her and held her hand as she got her toe wrapped and casted. And it changed our lives for a few weeks. She's still healing from it. And I reflected on what in this is a complete like blessing. Like, where can I find something in this experience that you can see the feeling. I'm having a hard time cutting words with it, but it's like, what about this experience is something that makes me so glad I'm alive right now? And so I was able to tune into my gratitude for the doctors that took such amazing care of my daughter. And then I actually interacted with the choices, and she interacted with the choices, cast or not cast on a broken toe. We cast it because she's wild and active and can't sit still, and we were scared if she didn't, it wouldn't set right. And that was a really good decision. So now it's like, that was about 6 weeks ago. It's healing perfectly. So the cast worked perfectly. It's like all the choices we made in that environment were right on. And so another way I could just totally see going through that experience and staying on the phone the whole time because I was stressed out and not paying attention and letting the doctors do all the care. And I could see like different ways I could have interacted with that. But I just kind of sat there in a very real, alive space with what needed to happen to heal her toe. And I just sat there with it, and I helped her just be at ease with it. And I was appreciative of the doctor. I was appreciative of the x-ray technicians. And we got service so fast, you guys. We were in and out of emergency in like 90 minutes with 2 x-rays, a before and an after. And that's unheard of. It can take, there's no blood. It can take 3 hours to get an x-ray. You know? And it went so smoothly. It was insane. And I feel like just me staying there in that calm space of honor of all the work all the people around me were doing to help my daughter's toe. It sounds really like woo-woo, but I know that we influence the outcome of that whole situation in a positive way by staying in our zone. Does that make sense? We just stayed in the zone. We didn't leave the zone. And of course, that day at 1 o'clock, I would have had a lot of places I would have maybe rather been than emergency. And I just take every situation that comes up, and it's not always like, some of them are really crazy and challenging. And I go, what is the seed in this situation of something that I can honor or respect or it's hard to explain. I'm always looking for that thread of how is this like the life that I'm seeking to experience more of. And that's the energy that will get you more of that consistent outcomes. Janie, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you, what's your, I'm feeling a question. What else? Is there a follow-up question?
No, I was just thinking that would, my awareness was that would help Maria with her question as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump into that really quickly. So what do we do when we're in a state or a community that isn't quite the same frequency or vibration as we are? And the more work you do, the more likely this will be true, unless you're on a mountaintop in Nowhereville, you know? I mean, if you're around human beings and people are coming here to be on the earth to have lessons, they're going to go through some crap. I mean, people are just going to go through stuff. And so what I got shown was the whole resistance to that. It's important to let people have their experiences. So I'm a former news reporter, and so I always kind of like tap into different news that's going on, and it can be really wicked, you know. And it's just one of those things, because I was a news reporter for so long, and my parents were in the business, and grandparents, publishing is in my genetic code. Not for me to not kind of tune into some of the bigger things that happen on the planet. And what I do, instead of, I get present to the heaviness, I honor that it needs to be there for that, for whatever reason. Do you see that difference, the allowing?
Yeah.
And there's a practice of being almost like glass. And I don't know, Maria, if you ever did any of the Psychic Institute stuff in Mountain View.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they have a practice where they're like glass and things go through them. And so you want to kind of have that glass. And in Access, Janie, it's more like lower your barriers.
Yeah.
But it's the same practice.
Yeah.
20 years difference, the same practice. And so it's this being like glass. Now, again, we're going to go back to how do we create our reality? How do we create our world? And so if we're not focused on consciously creating, then we're going to be at the whim of every dominant thought and belief in the planet. Okay? So there's a presidential race going. I'm not at the whim of that. I'm very interested in that, and I observe it. And I may have beliefs about it or opinions about it. And I'm creating a conscious reality. And I could even feel when I even brought that up, the charge on that in the United States right now and the globe. I mean, the charge on that is huge. There's so much charge on that right now. So let's just collectively send everything around that some peace and some love. And say whatever the United States has to learn from going through this situation, let's send, I mean, you know, I'm in the United States, but because we're global now. We're really global beings. And all the people we play with, it's all around the globe. This webinar is in 15 countries. This one, 15 countries. I love it. Slovenia, Italy, France, Germany, UK, Australia. I mean, we had signups from all over the world. And so how much does the planet like it when we vibrate out of happiness? Right?
A lot.
Oh, gosh.
I like this. I think it's very beautiful, this, what you're saying, this idea of not resisting, of complete acceptance, because then we become aware of the amazing opportunities and the choices that we have. So instead of becoming engrossed into this heaviness, into this craziness, you're like, I'm outside of it. I can choose. And it's almost like, it's a beautiful, beautiful choice. I do want to go one step further, though, because my question is that unconsciously, even though I work on myself and I work on energy all the time, unconsciously, when I step into a country, and I travel a lot, right? So when I step into a new country, it almost takes me a little bit to get adjusted to the energy. It almost catches me by surprise. And that was more my question, about being in a community that has a heavier vibe. Because it's almost, I'm not necessarily thinking of of a gathering, because that I'm used to handling, right? I can walk into a room full of people and stay in my own space, but it's almost like
But can I ask a
the
different
moment.
question?
Well, my question,
No, but I
that
want
I
to
think.
ask you a question.
Oh, yeah, by all means, yes.
What's it like when you stay in your dominant energy, no matter what country you're in? Like you get off the plane and you stay in your dominant energy. Can you picture that?
That would be nice. It's almost like I didn't move places.
That. What if the planet required that of you?
Interesting. Yeah, because instead of like staying in my place, whenever I show up in a location, I pick up the energy of the location and go with it, and that hurts me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never thought about it that way. I
Ah.
love this idea.
So
This
what could
idea
be
of like
different?
it doesn't matter. Like I'm a traveling person, so there you go. I travel a lot, and I become the energy that arrives in a place, as opposed to, wow, let me feel the energy. So instead of being receptive to the energy, just really being kind of what you were describing, this idea that I'm the one-to-many transmission.
Thank you.
So.
Because as you stand in your alpha, and I send this to my authors all the time, I'm like, just ask yourself, am I being the alpha energy here?
No, I love it. I love it.
And a lot of times, just a second, Maria, as women, we are really conditioned from birth not to be the alpha energy. Okay? We are conditioned pretty much to either be peacemakers, peacekeepers, or our mother, who's often the role model, has chosen not to be alpha. And so we are not often given opportunities to know what it's like to stand in the alpha energy of us. Does that make sense? So as you stand in your alpha energy, though, again, let's go back to the Olympic skater who's skating. Let's just say it's an ice pond, and they're doing ice skating, and they're doing little figuratively twirly things, and they're Olympic calibration, and they're having fun. That is just so beautiful. Like, I would pause and watch someone in their zone and be uplifted by it, as opposed to if they slowed down and skated boring and just skated in circles and didn't show off any of their things, and nobody really knew that an Olympic skater came to play that day. I mean, those are the two options. Someone slowed down, calmed down, wore the right clothes. I remember I got to England one time and I was wearing this bright green sweater, and my friend goes, "Can you wear something less touristy?" And I looked around and everyone was wearing gray, and I said, "No." I said, "I'm going to wear green. I look really good in green." And he was like, "Ah." I remember that when I was in England. That's really funny. So you want to sit there and just have that dominant energy of you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go into every store and knock people's socks off, but certainly, Maria Callas, you can. And Janie Smith, you can too. I want to tell you that. We know this about you, Janie. We know what happens when you walk into stores. And welcome, Julia. Hello.
I love this. I'm getting chills as you say it. It never occurred to me, instead of like just picking up the energy, to just stand and just say, okay, this is me and that's me. I'm so gonna try that. This is like, I feel this is like such a tremendous shift, and like it's the same thing, but it's perfect. I love it.
What's a bigger gift to Greece?
Yeah, for sure. I'm here
you shut
probably
it down,
to
or
raise
are you lighting it up bigger?
I think it's definitely lighting bigger. For
Me
sure.
too.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills as you say that. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, that was so fun. That was awesome. Okay, cool. Well, it's 9 minutes. So I'm going to go to one more last commercial break before the end of the webinar. And I'm going to do another transmission before it ends, and this will be available on replay. So I'm going to share screen right now. And I'm going to go over the program I built, and my friend Janie, who's on the call with me, helped me. And I have 60 days of happiness. And this came to me, oh my gosh, this came to me in a download. Like, I mean, I know, Maria, like you said, I have 10 years. I have 10 years of teaching, right? And all the books I've written, but it showed up. I just had like 30 blocks showed up. And so One of them was release self-judgment. We're going to do 2 days on that. And we have compare not. Oh my gosh. I think I might need to give you guys a little bit of compare not. Compare not is how you walk in the room. And we're going to actually do a little bit of that before it ends. So I'm going to do 30 videos. I've actually created videos for everybody, and they are going to start rolling out. 4 live calls. It's $298 USD. When you sign up, you'll get number 15 video immediately, plus the first 2 days of video. And it's 1 video every 2 days. When you sign up, you receive my book on Kindle, which Maria already has a signed copy. And I love my book. It's insanely beautiful. It knows so much more about happiness than it's a little bit secretive sometimes with itself. Hold on one second. So the book is chosen to come out again on this class. And so it's Happiness Quotations, and I wrote it in 2011, and it's just still so beautiful. Let's just open it to 1 page. Okay. Oh, Soar Higher into Happiness is that one. And it says, when you free up your past of limits you placed on it, your energy flows wide like a rushing river. Your energy creates and generates all new exciting futures you have not yet begun to dream about. That's what happens when you bust open those limits. It's amazing. Right? And so, so if you sign up for my class, it's $298 USD, and all that yummy stuff comes to you, and I will email the link to join. Oh, let's see, I think I'll put it in the chat here too, just for the fun of it. Let's see where we are. Chat. I'm so excited that I did this webinar. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. I'm so glad you could come. Whew. So I'm going to do a little guided meditation. And after today, you might feel that your throat chakra is more open. So feel free to write. You may, if your third eye chakra is open, you may have more awarenesses about the people in your life that you've been perceiving their unhappiness, and now that you're not attached to them being unhappy, you might get more awareness of it. So just allow yourself to know more awareness of others' unhappinesses, and just let them have that and let them grow from that themselves. You know, have them be in their unhappiness as a compassionate place where you're saying, oh, yes. And as you choose to expand yourself, they will learn how to expand. And as you choose that joy, they will learn joy. I have to laugh at it for you, Marie. That's for you, babe. So as you keep choosing for you, and that we talked about today too, everyone else gets permission to choose for themselves, right? So see how much the earth and the beings can expand into that happiness vibration, and then see what happens to the whole planet as a result of that. Let's see if you can feel that. And now I'm just going to do another transmission of joy for everyone on the call and everyone listening to the call in the future. It just really is easy. It's not hard. It's really easy. It's just not hard, you guys. It's really easy. Oh, what if it were just like breathing that, right? So thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. Really appreciative.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like, oh my God, thank you. I feel it was such a gift to be here. Thank you.
Oh. Sometimes my hands clear stuff, so I'm just clearing a little more stuff. Do I have permission? Maria, can I clear some more stuff around you, babe? Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just pushing away anything that isn't that, anything that isn't that, anything that isn't that. Janie, anything that isn't that, anything that isn't that. others who wish to have this clearing, just feel it. Anything that isn't your dominant energy being the alpha in your space, in your environment, in your world, and letting others have their own alpha, right? But, yeah. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Mwah.